If you found a wallet with $1,000 inside, what would you do? Keep it or return it? In this video, we are going to tell you the story of the lucky wallet to teach you the most important grammar in English, conditionals. We are specifically going to master how we talk about things that didn't happen in the past, the grammar of regret and hypothetical situations. You'll hear a conversation between two friends about a lost wallet. First, we'll listen to the story. Second, we'll break down the if sentences they use, specifically the third conditional for past regrets. And finally, you'll practice speaking with a role-play section. By the end, you'll know exactly how to talk about what might have been. Stick with us and let's get your English fluent and natural. Today's story starts with a man named Alex finding something unexpected. Listen closely to this short dialogue between two colleagues, Clara and John, discussing the news. Clara, did you hear about Alex? He found a wallet downtown yesterday.
No way. Was there money in it?
Oh yeah, over $1,000 apparently. He said he just saw it lying next to a flower pot.
Wow, that's a test of character right there.
It is. He called the owner immediately. The owner was apparently frantic. He told Alex, "If I hadn't lost that wallet, I wouldn't have realized how important my ID and credit cards are."
That's a great line. Alex is a good guy.
Now, that last line the owner said is pure, perfect English grammar, and it is exactly what we need to focus on today. The structure, if I hadn't lost, I wouldn't have realized. This is the third conditional, and it is what native speakers use every single day to discuss past situations that cannot be changed. The third conditional has two parts: the condition, the if clause, and the result, the main clause. Both parts refer to the past. They are both impossible to change. The structure is if plus past perfect, had plus past participle, followed by would have plus past participle. Let's look at the owner sentence again. If I hadn't lost, past perfect, that wallet, I wouldn't have realized would have plus past participle how important my ID was. He did lose the wallet, so he did realize how important his ID was. This structure allows us to imagine the opposite past. This is the superpower of the third conditional, reflecting on the past and imagining an alternate reality. Let's try a few simple examples using the story of Alex and the wallet. Listen and then repeat. Use the correct strong emphasis on the verbs. Example 1. Alex didn't keep the money. He returned it. Alternate reality. If Alex had kept the money, he would have felt guilty. Your turn. Repeat after me. If Alex had kept the money, he would have felt guilty. Example 2. The owner didn't look down at the ground. He missed the wallet. Alternate reality. If the owner had looked down, he might have found the wallet himself. Notice we can use might have instead of would have to show possibility. Your turn. Repeat after me. If the owner had looked down, he might have found the wallet himself. Mastering this structure makes your English sound much more sophisticated because you are moving beyond simple facts and into complex analysis of events. If you're finding this lesson useful so far, hit the like button. It helps us know what kind of lessons you want more of in your pocket. Let's go back to Clara and John. They continue their discussion about the moral dilemma, and they use more third conditionals. Listen carefully because this time they are using contractions, which is how real native speakers talk. Clara, John, honestly, if I'd found that much cash, I don't know what I'd have done.
I know. Alex is solid. If I hadn't seen it with my own eyes, I wouldn't have believed someone would return it so fast. He deserves a huge reward.
Absolutely. If the owner hadn't been so lucky to have Alex find it, he'd have been in serious trouble with his bank. He needed that ID for a meeting today. Did you catch the contractions? This is the point where most English learners struggle. In fast, natural speech, we don't say the full words. The if clause contraction, if I had known, becomes if I'd known. The result clause contraction, I would have called becomes I would have called, pronounced like would've. Let's dissect Clara's sentence. If I'd found that much cash, I don't know what I'd have done. That is tricky. In the first part, I'd stands for I had. If I had found. In the second part, I'd have done stands for what I would have done. What I would have done. Context is everything. Since we are using the past perfect in the first clause, found, we know the I'd must be I had. Let's practice these tricky contractions. Repeat these sentences slowly, focusing on getting the duh sound for had and the v sound for would've sound accurate. Practice 1. If I'd been walking faster, I wouldn't have noticed the wallet. If I had been walking faster, I wouldn't have noticed. Repeat. If I'd been walking faster, I wouldn't have noticed the wallet. Practice 2. She would have called the police if Alex hadn't returned it immediately. She would have called if Alex hadn't returned it. Repeat. She would have called the police if Alex hadn't returned it immediately. Practice 3. If you'd given me a different number, I wouldn't have been able to call you back. Repeat. If you'd given me a different number, I wouldn't have been able to call you back. Excellent work! Now you are moving beyond textbook English and into real-world communication. The key to sounding natural isn't just knowing the grammar rule, it's delivering the rhythm and the reduction of the words.
Let's apply this to a scenario based on the story. Imagine Alex, the finder of the wallet, was late for work that morning, and finding the wallet made him even later. How would he use the third conditional to explain his situation to his boss? He might say, if I hadn't stopped to pick up the wallet, I would have been on time. Now, let's explore some other verbs we can use in the result clause. While would have is the most common, we can also use could have to show past ability or opportunity, and might have to show past possibility. Let's use the scenario where Alex decided to keep the money. Ability example. If Alex had kept the money, he could have bought that new computer he wanted. He had the ability to buy it. Repeat. If Alex had kept the money, he could have bought that new computer he wanted. Possibility example. If Alex hadn't returned the wallet, the owner might have assumed it was stolen. It was a possibility. Repeat. If Alex hadn't returned the wallet, the owner might have assumed it was stolen. Think about a small mistake you made yesterday. Maybe you forgot your lunch at home. You can now use the third conditional to talk about it. If I had checked my backpack, I wouldn't have needed to buy lunch. This is how you integrate this grammar into your actual life. Let's return to John and Clara one last time. John is reflecting on his own behavior. John, I hope I would have done the right thing, but honestly, if I'd been having a really bad month financially, I don't know if I'd have called the owner. Clara, well, if you had decided to keep it, you'd have regretted it later, trust me. Maybe you're right. If I'd spent that money, I'd have felt guilty every time I looked at what I bought. Exactly. It just goes to show, good things happen to good people. Alex received a nice reward from the owner, by the way. If he hadn't returned the wallet, he wouldn't have gotten that bonus. The core lesson here, beyond the story of the wallet, is that the third conditional is a tool for empathy and reflection. It helps us analyze choices, outcomes, and consequences in the past. It's not just a rule, it's a way of thinking critically in English. For a final speaking challenge, I will give you a situation. I want you to construct a third conditional sentence in your head, out loud, before I give you the answer. Situation 1. You didn't subscribe to Pocket English Podcast yesterday. Therefore, you missed today's lesson. How do you express the alternate past? Pause for listener practice. Answer. If I had subscribed yesterday, I wouldn't have missed this important lesson. Situation 2. The wallet owner didn't write down his phone number on a piece of paper inside the wallet. Therefore, Alex struggled to contact him. How do you express the alternate past? Pause for listener practice. Answer. If the owner had written down his number, Alex wouldn't have struggled to contact him. Fantastic job today. You have gone from simply knowing the words to mastering the structure of past hypotheticals.
You've practiced not only the grammar, but the essential contractions that make you sound fluent. If you want to keep building real-world English skills like this, listening, speaking, and powerful vocabulary, hit the subscribe button and the bell icon right now. Make English your easy daily win by getting these lessons in your pocket whenever you need them. We'll see you in the next lesson.